Hello y'all, it's Andrew's weather predictions. Tonight, or this early morning, we have a video coming out pretty early. That's because I'm up late. I was with some friends on Discord, kinda just messing around, having fun. I'll likely be with them after I record this, but kinda wanted to go over the severe weather for this week. So currently we have flash flood watches across the south, and a line of strong to potentially a line of strong thunderstorms moving kind of northeastward. This is going to be moving up into portions of Louisiana in here and bring a severe risk early this morning. So let's move over to the Weather Prediction Center here, and here's your severe risk for this morning. Small area across Texas and Louisiana had possible risk. Also, flash flooding is likely. Day 2, we are likely to see a risk of severe storms across Kansas, Colorado, and portions of Nebraska, and then portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, southern Tennessee, Louisiana as well in the risk, and maybe eastern Texas. Day 3, we're likely to see a severe risk somewhere out in here. Large area being impacted, all hazards being possible. Let's look at that front map here. So we see here right about 18Z tomorrow morning. This is probably when we're going to start to see some strong thunderstorms come onshore, right here with that warm front bulging up northward. Then around 18Z we'll probably see a couple areas of focal points. So right around 0Z we'll probably see a focal point in portions of Colorado in here, and another one probably like in here for severe weather. And then as we move along to Monday, we'll have probably a focal point in the Midwest in here. We'll have another one down in through here too. Tuesday morning, we'll likely have a strong line of thunderstorms ongoing across these areas here along the front. And the Wednesday, we'll have a strong line of storms ongoing. Thursday, quiet. Friday, quiet. Saturday, quiet. For the most part. The Storm Prediction Center, we have a day 1, 5% torn, 15 wind, and 5 hail. There is mentions of a tornado watch that they have mentioned in the discussion. This was the old day 2. We have a 5 torn, 15 wind, and 15 hail. For the northern risk, 5, 15 wind, and a 15 hail. Now here's the new updated day 2 from what was the day 3. And something interesting is we could see an enhanced risk being needed for potentially all probabilities. But the current outlook, a large slight across Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Southwest Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. We also have a marginal for areas extending around it. A 5% tornado risk extends in southern Illinois, extreme northwest Kentucky, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and northeastern Oklahoma and southeast Kansas. A risk for significant hail extends across Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. A risk for significant damaging wind gusts extends across Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. I do think a day 3 slight will be issued for an upcoming event. Here are your current CAPE values. You can see here current mixed layer CAPE values. We have anywhere between 500 and 1,000 coming onshore, along with your effective bulk shear 40 knots or so, with storm relative velocity of 200. Multi-parameters, if we do end up looking at your 3 CAPE and vorticity max, that's going to be present right along that warm front here. And I think pretty soon we'll probably have a missile discussion being issued for a possible watch issuance and then a possible watch, as we'll likely see these storms ramp up in intensity as this strong band moves northward and becomes more tense. Now let's look at the models here. Let's start by looking at the NAM as I already have it pulled up. Kind of just going over some basic things here. So here's that trough that'll play a risk in tomorrow's severe risk. It is a dip in the here's a dip in kind of away here, we get 500 millibar flow, 40, 50, 60 knots. Not the greatest flow ever. Then the next trough comes in, and again, this is going to be a weaker wave, not really the strongest. The strongest part of it is going to be across portions of Illinois, actually, and Iowa. We're going to have a strong part of the wave, and then another strong part of the wave collapsing across portions of Oklahoma, Texas, kind of this area too, another focal point. And then you can see that wave ejecting further to the north and intensifying as the night goes along, promoting a higher risk for tornadoes across this area too. If you look at 850 millibar flow for both events, I know the NAM can overdo the 850 millibar flow for certain events, so take this with a bit of a grain of salt. But here's tomorrow. You can see 850 millibar flow of 35 plus knots in most areas. There's your focal zone. Then for Monday, boom. We're going to have one zone in eastern Oklahoma along the surface zone. We'll have enrichment. Another zone in Illinois and Wisconsin in this area across the surface zone. Then overnight, that low-level jet is expected to kick in, and we'll likely see that tornado risk extend kind of in here. I think the highest tornado risk will probably be somewhere in here with that surface low develops in here, and another secondary area in here. We'll also have a very strong wind risk with this as well. Looking at the precipitation off the NAM model, don't take this with a grain of salt, it is low res, but here's tomorrow. Likely to see a couple areas of thunderstorms fire off. Boom, Monday. Let me get to 0Z actually. That's going to be updated information. But still, a line of strong thunderstorms across portions of Illinois. Isolated strong thunderstorms all the way into these areas here. And then strong thunderstorms popping off right around 6Z or so across areas in here. And that's going to continue into the next day, bringing a pretty potentially substantial severe risk across Dixie Alley into the Ohio Valley as well. And then Wednesday could be a strong storm day for the Northeast, maybe. Let's look at the HRRR. Let's go in depth here. The HRRR has a weird little thing where it initiates a few supercells across portions of Texas, and then nothing in a favorable zone in here with little capping inversion. You take some soundings like southeast Kansas here. You can see here, not very high capping right along that surface line, yet we don't really have that much, so. Here we'll probably see some very strong, we'll probably see some large hail, potentially very large hail as well. It's just not going to be a high tornado risk as you don't have very much storm relativity at all. Maybe an anticyclonic circulation or two, but nothing significant. Further north up into Illinois, we see a squall line progress across the area. This will have potential for some strong damaging wind gusts, large hail, and potentially a tornado or two cannot be ruled out with it. Here's a forecast sounding at 23Z here across near my area. So the favorability with this, we could see there is looping photographs, so that would prevent a little bit of a tornado risk, and you can see these wonky upper level profiles here. There's still risk for some tornado activity. We do have some decent lapse rates, some decent 3 cape, and some decent surface-based cape, along with some shear. Mid-levels are the worst part. Mid and upper levels, they're not very supportive. That's something that we're lacking with this. D-cape is also pretty high, so that's going to extend that damaging wind risk. A lot of the other models are a little bit more or less progressing with the system. They have it a little bit further to the west. But this one has a pretty stout line, and they're probably going to extend the slight further to the north than it already is, and probably extend a hatched up here too. I mean, these soundings definitely do support slight to enhanced worthy for wind off the that ensemble. This ensemble, let's just see what it shows. Yeah, again, slight to enhanced worthy. Down here, let's just take a sounding in southeast Kansas. This is where they're probably going to have a bit higher of a tornado risk. What about the Nizzle? Nizzle wants to agree with the HRRR and fire off a supercell in frickin' central Texas. But most models are agreeing with a broken line of thunderstorms with with some supercells out in front here in Illinois. This is going to provide mainly a wind and hail threat, but an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Now let's get into the NAM 3-kilometer model. This is going to take you further into the night here, across portions of the Ohio Valley here. Right around 6Z, we start to see some areas of thunderstorms pop. That's a pretty decent sounding right there. To do wrapper and also really convex late at night, but let's take a look at the 1Z. If you do end up taking some soundings there in southeast Kansas, they're very favorable for tornadoes, especially 1 hour before this is even better. At 0Z right before convective initiation. Right here it's pretty good too. I mean, you have nearly 3,000 cape at the surface. This one has a lot more instability, but a tiny bit less shear. So with these other sounding, you're going to have a higher kinematic profile, but this one you're going to have a higher thermodynamic profile. So whichever one you want. And they both have very good crit angles. Personally, I'd take this sounding right here, but that one's good too. So it looks like the areas that are likely going to be affected the most by this are probably going to be areas, I'd say anywhere in this box right in here. I do think there's going to be a secondary area though in this box in here, and potentially a third area in this box right here, and maybe even a fourth area in this box right here with morning stuff. Now, if you do end up looking at weather bell, which is something that we're going to look at here, we're going to look at the instantaneous flash rate over the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to look at some ensemble data maybe. But here's the instantaneous flash rate there. So let's just turn back. Here's tomorrow, how the day evolves. There's Monday, so the Euro's agreeing with that kind of long-lived squall line across Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and then it shows some supercells firing after dark with a big Boeing segment. Then it shows another day of a Boeing segment across the Ohio Valley, and then it kind of teams down a little bit. Let's look at some ensemble data, and then we'll head out. We'll look at the CAPE for all GFS ensemble numbers, and we're going to look at it for the Ohio Valley. So let's look at it for our. We'll do our 0Z. So most of them are agreeing, except this one right here that will have a large warm sector. Most of them are agreeing with 1,000 plus CAPE for portions of Illinois. We do see there's a large area with potential for 1,000 plus CAPE, and a large area with 2,000 plus CAPE, and a large area with 3,000 and even 4,000 being a possibility. Here's the shortwave trough that comes in, and it's not too bad with the models. 850 millibar jet is not great with the models though. That's a little bit something that's lacking. Here's the mean MSLP. We have another secondary surface loan here with another surface loan there. Let's look at the European ensembles here. The European ensembles want to risk a lot further to the south. They don't really want much CAPE up to Illinois and areas like that, so I don't think the Euro is going to be a great thing to look at with this. We'll look at the Canadian mean. So Canadian wants some hot temperatures up further to the north. Maybe that'll help out with stuff a little bit. Has that surface low in Illinois with that convection there too. So basically from what I'm seeing here, we're going to have two different areas. One in here, actually a couple. One in there for afternoon storms. Those end up traveling further to the north and spreading out an area into here overnight. And actually areas like this. Actually, wait. So Here is an area the surface low tracks across this area, bringing potential for some strong to severe storms. Secondary area forms along another surface low in here. That area spreads to the north and east and causes problems for this area as well. But yeah, that's basically going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night, stay safe, and stay weather aware.